very, very important. It is not enough.
That's not what I want.
Bad basketball. The refs killed the game, and I will be the first to admit.
Too.
Texans who will forever regret passing on Johnny
Is that serious
Manziel.
right now?
Oh, Golden Boy's coming back.
And he wants to come back.
Dancing with the Stars?
And
Dancing with the Stars?
he called out Conor McGregor.
Oh, shit.
No. That's true.
No.
Yes.
Hey,
It's a true
motherfucker.
story.
This I can get into.
Oh, yeah. It is Wednesday night, and the Scout team is back with ya. My name is Loudbeard. I am one of your gracious hosts this evening, and sitting right across from me is...
Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm only here so I don't get fined. It's the man with the golden Mike.
Hey, wait. Let's start that over. What's your name again?
Mac.
The man with the golden Mac.
The man with
All right,
the
I
golden
got
Mac.
it. I was saying it wrong this whole time. I don't know what I was possibly thinking.
I was drinking
and then
before I got here.
We live in a world with a bunch of patriots, and there is one patriot that stands out above them all, and that would be...
America.
Yeah, that's right. My mic isn't on.
That's right, Chris America.
That's right. My mic isn't on. What's up, 12 Ounce Sports Radio Land? My name is Chris America. Of course, you already knew that. Welcome back, fellas. It's good to be back live on air, as we are every Wednesday night from 7:30 to 9 on the 12 Ounce Sports Radio Network.
12 Ounce Sports Radio. Hey, we appreciate everybody listening.
Why do they call it 12 ounce again?
Because we like to drink bottles of water that only have 12 ounces of liquid fluid inside of them.
You know what? There is no 12 ounce bottle of water, though. Check it out. Look, every bottle of water is not 12 ounces.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I'm just saying.
What about a soda? A pop? A 12-ounce can of pop?
Remember when, like, the 20 ounce...
Like that's right.
It's 20 ounces of soda.
It's 20 ounce.
Yeah, it's 20 ounces of soda
But
bottles.
the cans are like... The cans are...
I think the cans are 12.
The cans are 12.
They're 12 or 16.
The cans are 12.
Yeah.
16s are the
Yeah.
big boys.
But do they sell cans anymore?
Yeah,
like,
they
I don't
sell
even
cans.
think soda machines sell cans
No, they sell
anymore.
cans, but they're
Yeah,
not 12
cans are a
ounces
thing.
anymore. Yeah,
Speaking of soda, we are the RC Cola of sports radio, of sports podcasts.
I guess.
So thanks for tuning in.
All right,
We got an
man. Thank you for
exciting
that.
lineup today. We're going to talk about a little ACC football. We're going to talk about FSU.
FSU.
I hope we don't.
We're gonna.
That sounds
we
terrible.
We got at Lou the Dog calling in a little bit later to talk to us about the Louisville Cardinals, or as Girls Beer Sports would call them, Birds with Teeth. You can hear them say that over and over again at 3 o'clock on 12 Ounce Sports Radio.
That's right. That's a great show, too, man. If you have never, ever seen the Girls Beer Sports podcast, seen it, heard it, you should check it out. It comes on 12 Ounce Sports Radio, and they do a phenomenal job. And, yeah, you hit it the nail on the head there, Chris America. We have some great guests coming on tonight. I don't even think you mentioned our other guests. We've got Lukas Weese, who is a sports journalist that's going to be giving us a little bit of his Toronto Raptors insight now that the Raptors have made that big acquisition.
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's the good stuff. Hey, and then if you guys haven't heard, and if you've been your head in the sand, the Scout team is going daily. We want to talk about this a lot because this is a big deal for the show. This is a big deal for 12OunceSportsRadio.com. We are going to a daily format. We're going to be Monday through Friday. We are working out all the details, but we believe it's going to be a show that it runs at 6 a.m., we're going to replay it at 9 a.m. and replay it again at 11 a.m. So we are looking at tearing up all of the airwaves on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. We want to get everybody's drive time, whether you are East Coast, West Coast, Central America, if you are in Northeast Africa, wherever you are today listening in, we want you to be able to listen to the Scout team. So coming up on the 27th of August, a little bit over a month from now, we are going Monday through Friday. You're going to get all the great takes, all the cold takes, all the hot takes that you always get from this phenomenal sports radio podcast. Don't you guys agree over there?
I agree.
He's just all in it. So
He's
just,
in
I
it
was
to
just letting
win
him
it.
go.
Just let him
Yeah,
go.
I was letting him
I don't
go.
even think you took a breath.
No, he didn't.
You know what it is? It's your beard. It is back. It is louder, and it is
back.
beardier than ever. I'm impressed that your beard is pretty much back. And when did we shave that? At the end of June, right?
Yeah, I mean, this thing
less than a month ago
is where I derive all of my power from.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yep, that would be me. I am the loud beard, and this is where I get all my power. And I am an egotistical, self-deluded, you know what.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever...
I'm going to just do it all night. I don't care. That's how I'm going to roll. Hey, you know what, guys? I kind of glanced on this a little bit, but I do want to talk about this huge trade that just happened. It is about time that we announced it. Chris America and the man with the golden mic have been traded to the Rehab Sports guys. Oh, man, this is a complicated deal. There's a lot of moving parts. We got a lot of things getting thrown in at the last minute. Luckily, I was able to negotiate. I'm getting a box of Fig Newtons in return. And Ian from Rehab Sports Guys, he's going to come join me, and we are going to be the new scout team. What do you guys think of this new trade?
You know, at first I thought, man, Rehab Sports Guys, at first it was just me for Ian, and I told the guys, like, they lost out big on that trade because Ian is really, really good at what he does, and I am not. But I
second that.
They explained to me that this is basically a contract dump. Ian's contract was way too big. They were coming up to some salary cap issues, so that's why they made the trade. So they said they're going to keep me on, but I got my agent ready to settle out my contract as it currently stands.
I still haven't got paid from the scout team.
What,
so,
you haven't got paid yet?
So I'm not going
Your
anywhere.
Honor, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that is unbelievable,
I'm
sir.
not going anywhere until I get my money from this station, this show right here, okay? I'm not going anywhere. I want my money.
Man, you sound like Le'Veon Bell.
I'm going to get that money.
You're going to just hold out. Why don't you just hold out?
I don't think that's Le'Veon Bell that's holding out there, right?
Oh, yeah, he's going to hold out.
I mean, yeah, but it might just be Pittsburgh too now, right?
So, I'm going to jump into this.
Yeah,
I know we were kind of just doing intro, screwing around, but this Le'Veon Bell thing pisses me off. I mean, I guess maybe because I had to live through it.
Because he lost a quarterback the same way.
I had to live through the Kirk Cousins, which that was a lot on the Redskins, and no hard feelings there. I'm moving on from it. But I think this situation where every year Le'Veon Bell holds out because Kirk Cousins wasn't holding out. He came in, he was a leader, and he did what he was supposed to do for the team. The contract never worked out for him. But Le'Veon Bell, every year, the last 3 years, bitching about his contract, and then he's going to hold out. It becomes a media circus. It's bad for the Steelers. They just need to cut ties, man. Move on from this guy. He's getting paid a good amount of money on this, so I don't understand why it is becoming such a big deal. I just don't get it.
So if Kirk Cousins got franchise tag again this season for Washington, you would be okay with it? You wouldn't be. You would be saying the same thing?
No, I wouldn't be. But Pittsburgh, from what I saw in the reports, they were offering him a good contract. He's holding out. I think he's going to get screwed because after this year, nobody's going to give him the contract that Pittsburgh was paying him this year because running backs, once they get up there, I think he's 27, 28 years old at this point, they're not worth what they think they're worth. And that's the problem, is they start becoming these prima donna, oh, somebody will pay me millions and millions of dollars. Maybe it'll be the Redskins. We overpay old people. I don't know, but this whole thing, man, I just get tired of it. And then it'll be a holdout to week 1, and then he's not going to want to lose any more money, and so then he'll play. He'll be rusty the first 3 or 4 weeks. Fantasy football guys will be losing their shit, and then all of a sudden, week 4 and 5, he'll go back to being his old self. And, let's just rid ourselves of this debauchery known as this holdout, and just, let's fix this. Why do we have such a line drawn in the sand for franchise tagging guys? I just don't get it.
I don't, because he was all for it with Kirk Cousins as long as he stayed in Washington last year. That's all I'm saying. It's the same deal.
But I'm talking about Le'Veon Bell. What is your thoughts on Le'Veon Bell?
It's the same deal to me. I mean, he wants more money. Pay the man. He's producing.
He's been getting money, man.
He's not the weakest link on that team, so pay him.
Well, obviously, it's not Ben Roethlisberger.
This is absolutely Big Ben.
I know, you hate him.
I think for Le'Veon Bell, it's not so much the money as much as it is the longevity of the contract and the guaranteed money.
That's true, too.
he doesn't want to play for a 1-year contract as a running back. As quarterback, it's dangerous, but you're still not taking 200 to 300 licks a game if you're a quarterback. Or a season, not a game. 200, 300 licks a season. And we're not talking about just a little bit of like a tackle. Like, this is running up the middle, lowering your head, and meeting a Mack truck that's also a bigger dude than you, lowering your head and all those kind of impacts. So I don't fault Le'Veon Bell for saying, I want a max contract. Another deal, I don't remember which two new running backs it was, but I want to say it was like Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott. I want to say it's those two guys have both made more money in their career so far than Le'Veon Bell has.
Boom.
And that's because Le'Veon Bell was drafted, what, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, somewhere around there. And you don't get paid at all when you get drafted that low, which I think it's kind of a shame. That I think it should be higher contracts, obviously, if you get drafted in the 1st round. But I think if you get drafted maybe 3rd through 7, it should be, yes, lower pay, but also lower years on the contract. Maybe 1 or 2 seasons instead of 3 and 4.
The man's producing. Pay him.
So here's what the Steelers offered, according to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. From what he understood, the Steelers' final offer to Le'Veon Bell was a 5-year, $70 million contract with more than $30 million over the first 2 years. He turned that down because he thought he could get more.
Do you let me ask you this.
I mean, we wouldn't turn it down, but it's Le'Veon Bell.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, take out, because I get the whole concept of markets, and this is what the market for a running back is. But I also think the market for a running back is way low for what they do, for what they put on the line. I get it. Like, in the free world, quarterbacks make the most money because they're the money makers. They're the ones that put butts in the seats. They're the ones that sell more jerseys most of the time. But you also got guys like running backs who put their heads on the line, who put their bodies on the line. They probably have the shortest careers out of all superstar athletes than anybody else. So I don't fault them for wanting to make the most money that they can for the short period of time.
Pay me.
They are trying to pay him. That's what I'm saying. These contract offers are not bad contract offers.
They're not bad, but could it be better?
Like, he's going to make $10 million, $12 million less than what J.J. Redick made last year. And I get it. There's different sports and everything, and I want to do the math on it because everybody talks about how it's a 53-man roster, so they have more people to go around. I want to know, like, what is the amount of money the NFL makes per player, because the NFL makes a lot more than the NBA does. So I want to one day sit down and research it and see, compared to like the total number that the NFL made last year, and then divide it by however many players in the NFL and see if that is a higher or lower number than what it is compared to the NBA. Because I think they can pay these guys more. They just don't.
Of course they can.
Baseball has a 40-man roster. That's only 13 less players, and they pay these guys $300 million contracts over 10 years.
Just saying, man.
And then they afford all of their minor league team players and everything else.
I'm not mad at Le'Veon Bell. And neither should you be. Like, pay him. Pay me.
You heard that contract offer, man.
He's one of the best running backs in the league.
I'm not arguing with that.
Pay him like he's one of the best running backs in the league.
But I guess I'm mad at the circus. You got a guy, from what the reports say, which they're not always 100% accurate, but last year he was offered a 5-year $60 million. This year they offered him a 5-year $70 million. He's not being reasonable about it. He just wants more and more money. And I get that you get what you can get, and I guess I don't blame the players for that. But there comes to a certain point where you're not worth what you think you are. And he came out on, I believe it was on Twitter, maybe it was on his gram, I don't know, but it was somewhere out there. He said he shouldn't be paid like a running back. He should be paid like an offensive weapon. That's what he said. He should be paid like an offensive weapon. Like he's saying, I agree, but he's still a running back.
He almost got 1,000 yards receiving last year. I mean, 1,200 rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. That's pretty freaking good. Tell me, how much did Kirk Cousins sign for?
A lot of money, guaranteed.
How much?
It was 80 guaranteed for 3 years.
And how much was the total? Was it total 80?
I think so. Yeah, because it was the first fully guaranteed contract, which sets a whole new precedent. Because no matter what happens to Kirk Cousins,
he gets paid.
He gets paid. Now, Le'Veon Bell, I say this, $70 million. It doesn't say what the guarantees are. He could have a $10 million guarantee, which means the rest is based off of time played, incentives, and everything else that they pile into it. He blows his knee out tomorrow. There's only a $10 million guarantee. That's all he gets. So maybe he's holding out for more guaranteed. But I hate the circus. I hate that it's the same guy year in and year out and the same problem for a team that used to hold their business very gentleman-like. Now it's become a little bit of a circus atmosphere in Pittsburgh.
So I just looked it up. Le'Veon Bell had 321 carries and 85 receptions. That's over 400 touches of the football.
That's a lot of touches.
That's four. I mean, they say that a football tackle is basically like a minor car crash. That's almost 400 car crashes in one season. That's crazy. And that's on a franchise tag year. Any one of those hits could have ended his career, and he's not getting the money he wants. So
he's still
I
getting
get what
paid,
you're saying.
though. $14.5 million to play 1 year
is a lot. It is a lot, but you also got to think.
Put that in my bank account.
I should get more.
Yeah.
You don't
put it in my bank account.
We would. This is Le'Veon Bell.
Tell Le'Veon to do it. You got to have a hookup. Come on, man. Hook a brother up.
I'm just saying.
I think this is again just a prerequisite of what we're going to see when the new contract comes up. The new bargaining agreement, the CBA. It's not just going to be him holding it. It's going to be all the NFL players. The more and more we learn about CTE, the more and more we learn about all these injuries and stuff with football, with the brain. Players are going to stop saying, "Look, you can't cheapskate us." Like again, JJ Redick made $24 million last year. With your 5 year, $70 million, that's only $14 million a year. That's $10 million less than JJ Redick. And JJ Redick ain't gonna risk his body the way that Le'Veon Bell is.
Now, going from one
JJ Redick isn't gonna make the Philadelphia 76ers as much money as Le'Veon Bell is gonna make the Steelers.
A lot more players on a football team than there are on
No, but Le'Veon Bell makes them money.
But the money, come on. Le'Veon Bell puts butts in the seats. JJ Redick doesn't put butts in.
I disagree with that. JJ Redick is a fan favorite. He is a fan favorite. Out of 5 guys playing, he's one of the most popular guys.
Yeah, okay.
People love that he's on their team, but if he left, nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not going to the Sixers game tonight."
Crap,
Forget
JJ
Ben
left?
Simmons and everybody else. I'm here to see JJ.
All right, you guys are haters. I'm moving on. Next topic, I have to bring it up each and every week. It is important to bring up the latest and greatest news regarding Tim Tebow.
Oh
That's
God,
right. We're
dude,
going
why
Tim
are we
Tebow
doing this,
news
really?
once again.
I'm going to take my headphones
All right,
off.
so
I'm going to take my headphones off. I'm done.
the college player that was one of the greatest college football players of all times, Tim Tebow, now is part of the Mets organization. He has confirmed that he is dating the 2017 Miss Universe winner. That is right. He is dating Miss Universe, and he has been quoted as saying, "She is a really special girl, and I am very lucky and blessed for her coming into my life." Tim Tebow also said, "I am usually very private with these things, but I am very thankful." Hey, Tim, I appreciate you being such a admirable guy. You're a gentleman. I love what you're doing. Tim Tebow talk coming at you each and every week. Can't let it go. Gonna keep going it with Tim Tebow. And since he's an all-star caliber baseball player, let's talk a little bit about the all-star game, particularly the home run derby.
Hey.
And there was a gentleman at the home run derby that looked very stylish with his American clothes. And so I put this out on Twitter the other day. I want to know, who is the realest American that you know? Would it be Bryce Harper wearing all of that American gear in Washington, D.C., winning the home run derby, or would it be the scout team's very own Chris America? Who is the most real American that we know? Anthony, is it Bryce Harper or Chris America?
I don't know Bryce Harper.
So it's me by default.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Bryce Harper, the future, Cub or Yankee? That's what a lot of people were tweeting out there. He's probably going to get paid $400 million, and he's only batting .214 this year.
Where's my boy Aaron Judge? He didn't participate.
Aaron Judge he did not participate in the home run derby, but he did hit a home run in the actual All-Star game. Nice. So your boy, he came through for you.
Judge.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually a great festivities. Home run derby was awesome. A lot of people said Bryce Harper cheated. Did either of you guys see the home run derby?
Sounds like American.
His dad was pitching to him. He got down to the end, and he only had a couple more home runs left. And you have to wait till the ball lands. And his dad kept throwing them at him like rapid fire, and he was just boom, out. And then I saw everywhere people like, this guy's cheating. What are you doing? Bryce Harper's cheating. How can you blame an American, a real American, almost as American as Chris America, for being a cheater? This is absurd, and I disagree with this stance 100%.
Interesting.
Is it interesting?
I guess so.
It is interesting, isn't it? And also at the All-Star game, it was announced today that the Manny Machado deal to get Manny Machado over to L.A., he's like the next LeBron. He's going out to L.A. He rounds the bases and then stops, takes a quick selfie with Matt Kemp, his future teammate, or now new teammate, Matt Kemp, as he's crossing the bases. And at that time, the deal wasn't finalized, but it had been speculated. Wow. So that was a little bit of a storyline. Hey, you know what? Selfies, they never get old. And you know what? I'm a little disappointed in the world for not having more selfie sticks. I feel like the selfie stick is kind of, it's aged, it's past, the fad is gone. I say we bring selfie sticks back. What do you guys think?
No, I'm good without them. I'm good without the selfie sticks, man. I think long as the front facing camera and you got a decent arm length, you're good to go. I don't need to see the whole. It's just I don't know. They're just weird, man. Selfie sticks are weird.
What if you're an Asian tourist at Disney World?
I'm not touching.
Disney banned those for that reason. You're not allowed because people were getting annoyed about the selfie sticks. Maybe it's a dangerous weapon. An Asian tourist with a selfie stick, to me, is a very dangerous weapon.
I don't know why. I just don't. There's something about them. Something about the selfie sticks I'm not a fan of.
All right. So something else that should annoy you.
What's that?
Your girl, Serena.
That doesn't annoy me, man.
She dropped it, man.
Man, she just had a baby, bruh. She just had a baby.
So I got to give her a pass?
I mean, you don't have to, but I'm giving her a pass.
I mean, she goes to the finals in Wimbledon. I would expect her to make a win because you have pumped her up for so long that I feel like I feel like I'm close to her because she's such a good fan and friend of the show, the scout team.
Stay away from my Serena.
I think she should have won. And I'm disappointed, Mac. You got to give me your thoughts here.
I mean, look, this is the reality of it. She just had a baby. In tennis age, Serena's up there. Like, we talk about football players at, 30 years old being old and, like, all right, it might be time for them to retire with bad knees and everything. She's been doing it for a very long time. I mean, there probably is tennis players out there that's been doing it just as long as she has, but hasn't been quite successful as she has, even in her later ages. So, I'm going to be honest with you. We thought she was on the decline 2 or 3 years ago, and she's still out there. She had a baby, and she's still out there. She got to the finals. I mean, that's something to be said about how powerful of an athlete she is.
Now, when you talk about tennis, do you consider her the GOAT?
Yeah. Yeah. Who else?
I don't know, Chris America?
Well, I mean, are you qualifying this as like the GOAT of all tennis players?
No, not. I mean,
I would say 100% women's GOAT.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like.
But, and I guess it's always comes up because she beat Nadal. Like, I want to say
no.
Yeah, but in my hearts of hearts, it's like, nah, she couldn't beat Nadal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, right now.
She can beat Federer.
It's okay, so she's 36. So that's old no matter what sport you play.
That's old, bruh.
Hey, man,
she's
that
up
hurts.
there.
That hurts.
She still look good, though.
That hurts.
But the crazy part is.
So do I.
And I'm looking her up now. She's currently ranked number 28th in the world, which is insane.
Wow.
Well, that's because she took time off for the baby.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still think you got to. Man, she cruised. I mean, I don't know if she cruised, but she made it to the finals. And nobody was like, oh, my God, she.
28.
I
should have
think
been a
she
bigger
should be-
deal, I
She
think.
should have been top 5. If she's number 28 and she made it to the finals again, it should have been made a huge deal.
That's crappy, man. Who does this? These guys.
She got a worse ranking than UCF got.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. We got plenty of college football to come up here later in the show, but I just want to had to give some love to Serena. I don't know if you guys heard this or not. I just want to give it out there to you. But Shaq was at a nightclub recently, and he decided to start trolling on Charles Barkley. He puts up on the projector, "Chuck has no rings," and then he started playing this.
Barkley sucks. Say Barkley sucks. Say Barkley sucks. Say Barkley sucks.
All right, that was
awesome.
DJ Shaq coming in with the sick beats.
That's awesome.
That's right. Barkley sucks. What do you guys think of that, man? They're friends, though, so it's going to be one of
they're
these
friends,
things. So Chuck's going to throw him through a glass window to make up for this. What do you think this is retaliation?
It's got to be in
gonna
downtown
be?
Orlando again, too.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be there live.
Yeah, we'll watch that. Yeah, man, they're friends, so it's no beef there. Charles talks a lot of trash, and that's what I like about old school basketball players, man. Like, they understand it's just a game. We're just out here just talking trash, man. You know what I'm saying?
Out of all the pregame shows or sports after game shows, the TNT guys, the way they do the NBA basketball is, I mean, it was always great, even just with Charles Barkley, but then you add in Shaq, and the two act like brothers all the time. That's what I think of when I hear him do stuff like that. I can just imagine, two Charles Barkley at 8 and Shaq at 8, both being like 6'5" at that time. Just playing Nintendo 64 and fighting over the sticks as to who gets the golden gun or whatever. Starts out playing slaps only, and then they start punching each other.
Yeah.
That's the way I see them when they're on air. It's just two big brothers with each other.
Big goofy brothers.
Yeah, they're like Will Ferrell from Step Brothers.
Yeah, Step
just
Brothers.
totally like that. You just keep one-upping each other.
Right.
You're going all out. You like each other, but you hate each other.
Yeah.
But you like each other. Trying to one-up each other.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, though. It's going to be funny to see how Charles responds if he waits to the NBA season to do it, too. It's going to be funny.
And I don't even know if he'll wait till then. I think it's just going to be an ongoing back and forth. They're going to come up with, like, the best pranks for each other. There was the one where somebody tied Shaq's shoes, and then he fell off the set when he was going to run up to the the prompter. I thought that was kind of fun. I don't know, just a ton of good stuff with that. Now, speaking of basketball, I guess we're getting back into basketball. We talked J.J. Redick. This big story about Kawhi Leonard, we're going to have to get into this.
It's a horrible story.
We've got Lukas Weese, who is a sports journalist, coming on in the next few minutes. As soon as he calls in, we will get him on the air. And he is a big Raptors fan. So
he's a big what?
Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I think he's based out of Toronto. He's with the Grueling Truth Sports.
He does Grueling Truth. He does like 3 or 4 different publishing sites, blog sites, sports journalism sites that he's involved with. I could probably pull it up and give you some of his bio, but when he comes on, we'll go ahead and let him explain that to all of our listeners. But we're excited to have him. And then after we have a great conversation with Lukas, we're going to have another special guest coming up after that. Chris America mentioned it earlier, but Lou the dog, we're excited about having him on. So as we're waiting for this call in, I just wanted to give a shout-out real quick to all of our listeners. Make sure you check out the website, 12ozsportsradio.com. That's 12ouncesportsradio.com. It is not only the website where you can listen into the scout team and listen to all the great things that we are doing, but it is the website that you can go to if you want to buy event tickets. When you want to buy a sporting event ticket, a concert, anything like that, don't go to SeatGeek. Don't go to Ticketmaster. Go straight to 12ouncesportsradio.com. You will get the best deals. You can buy tickets to any events. It will automatically show you all the events that you have in your area that are available to you. You can buy get tickets at great prices. Check it out. Also, you go to the bottom of the page. Oh,
hey, Kyle, let me interrupt you here.
Yeah,
for a second.
go ahead.
You got excited. And
I always get excited.
I was ready to tell you about something. I've been checking the weather because, we have crappy hot weather here right now. So every once in a while, I got to look up other areas in the country to kind of pretend like I live there. I know Tabs Blue, one of our favorite followers, she tweeted how nice it was in Springfield. It's like 71 degrees.
The Simpsons live there.
It's like in the 60s in Michigan. So if you're listening to us right now and you have this 60, 70-degree weather, that's perfect golf weather. And what better way to go out golfing when it's perfect weather like that, Kyle? What happens? Everybody goes, right?
Yeah, it's the perfect time to go book a tee time.
Yeah, so you don't want to just show up when it's 60, 70 degrees out because guess what? They're going to be full. You're not going to be able to golf. So make sure you go to our webpage, 12ouncesportsradio.com, 12ozsportsradio.com. Scroll to the bottom, book like a pro. Click that tab and book yourself a tee time. And they give out some discounts, so check it out.
All right, I think that's awesome. And you know what? If you're going to go golfing, you need to have the most stylish sports athletic wear. And you know what you can do? You can also go to the 12-Ounce Sports Radio website and click on the link that says Rally House. Hold on one second. We've got a call coming in. It is Lukas Weese. Hey, Lucas. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, it's going great. This is Kyle, the Loudbeard, here with Scout Team. I've got you on the air already. Next to me is Chris America, and across from me is Anthony Mack. Thank you for coming on to the Scout Team. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How you doing, guys? Great to meet you, and thanks so much for having me on the show. What a day in sports.
Oh, man, it is a great day in
He
sports.
sounds excited.
What a day in Toronto
Yeah,
sports.
not really
Big
sports.
Toronto Raptors day.
Exactly.
So we can tell just by the accent alone that you must be either from or around Toronto, correct?
You got it right. I've been born. I was born in Toronto. Diehard Raptors fan. So I got a lot to say about the recent trade.
Very cool. Well, we're kind of new at getting in callers, and so with the introduction, we have on the line with us right now is Lukas Weese. You are the contributor for the Hockey Writer, and you're also the college managing editor for the Grueling Truth, but also, like you just mentioned, a big Toronto Raptor fan. We wanted to have you on our show to talk about the big Toronto trade. So thanks a lot for calling in and talking about this. So what is the initial reaction this morning on Toronto Sports Talk or just in the newspapers? What's going on in Toronto right now?
Well, I would say that there's two distinct camps. I think you got the camp who is really excited because arguably to come to Toronto Raptors in our franchise history Kawhi Leonard. And I think that they're happy that we finally got someone, many people think could be a top 5 NBA player. And this is the camp that I'm in. Think that this is just a bad move by the Toronto Raptors. I think both teams, San Antonio and Toronto, I don't think benefited all that much.
No.
And I think, I'll get into more of it on the show, but I just think that they see this as Kawhi, a rental player coming to Toronto. Some people think he may not, play in Toronto because, he just said, I have no desire to be here. I see it as a rental move. He stays a year. They try to make, take a plunge, try to, get to the NBA finals into the first time in franchise history. And he's going to be gone. And then we have no one. And we're back into the depths of irrelevancy that have plagued this franchise for many years, preceding the DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry era. So there's really two distinct camps of thought in terms of the trade, but definitely a lot of buzz for sure.
All right, so which side of the fence do you fall on?
Well, I fall that this is just a horrible move for the Raptors. I think, look, DeMar DeRozan, he's an all-star. He's not a superstar. The guy averages 20 points a game for his career, and it just seems like a quiet 20 points. And in the big moments in the playoffs, he comes up small. We've seen it in the playoff runs in the last 2 years when the Raptors have been swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers 2 consecutive years. But in the short term, the Raptors are a better team right now. Kawhi Leonard is better than DeMar DeRozan. They also got Danny Green, who's a very good defender. So you got two, so I think our defense improves. And I think that this is, a good team that Masai Ujiri wants to put on the floor to try to win right now. The problem is Kawhi Leonard, I still trust this guy. I think his character is a little bit off to me.
Wow.
For me, I think I don't think, there was no structural damage according to the San Antonio medical staff. And I think he quit on Greg Popovich, one of the great basketball coaches of all time. And now he says he has no desire to play here. So I think he's a rental player. This is a pit stop for him before he goes to the Los Angeles Lakers next year. And then the Raptors are just going to be irrelevant because they lost DeRozan, they lost Kawhi. Now they have nobody.
Yeah, but you also had Paul George kind of do a similar situation where he went to OKC. He wasn't fond of going to OKC. He loved the Lakers, and he ended up signing long-term with OKC. I would think that the hopes is that he goes up to Toronto, which I've been to Toronto. I visited up there. It's a underrated city, man. It is so much fun. I think he's going to like it more than he thinks, man. I think this could be a situation where he signs long term. You don't think that he's going to?
No, if Masai is hoping that he can convince Kawhi to stay. And look, I like Masai to a degree. I think he's a real dynamo general manager. I mean, he was just recently in Kenya with former President Barack Obama opening a basketball education facility. And this is a guy who's a gambler. I mean, in 2011, he traded Carmelo Anthony from the Denver Nuggets to the New York Knicks, got a bunch of players in return, Raymond Felton, Chandler, etc. And the Denver Nuggets were not a bad team after that. But the only way that I see Masai keeping his job is if he resigns Kawhi, and I just don't see that happening. I think the big winner in all this today, I think, is Matt Johnson of the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron and him had a conversation. LeBron agreed that, the Lakers are going to bide their time. They're going to wait for free agency next year when you got Kawhi available, KD available, Klay Thompson available, and then you make a splash on one of those guys, and you don't have to give up the young core that the Lakers have, like a Kuzma, Ingram, and Hart. So I don't see Kawhi Leonard sitting in Toronto. He doesn't want to be here. He said flat out, I have no desire to be in Toronto. I don't like that, the character, and to me with the whole injury issue, it just adds to the controversy surrounding Kawhi.
All right, so my question is, if this ends up being a rented situation, which it pretty much sounds like it is, he's only going to be there for a season, how far do the Raptors need to go for you to consider worth the risk or worth having that rented player? Is it the Eastern Conference Finals, is it NBA Finals, or is it NBA Championship?
For me, it would have to be NBA Finals or championship. And I don't see them winning the championship next year. They're not as good as the Golden State Warriors or the Houston Rockets. I think they have a chance to win the East. A small chance, because I think Boston is the classic conference. Philadelphia is also very good. But I think Masai and the management team are thinking, this is the first season that LeBron James is not in the Eastern Conference anymore.
Right.
So I think so they must think that they have a really good chance now because LeBron is there. Look, the Cleveland Cavaliers this past season, they weren't the best version of Cleveland Cavaliers that LeBron was on. And the Cavs still swept the Raptors. It was all because of LeBron James. LeBron had a legendary series. So LeBron's now out of there. I think the Raptors make Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be a competitive series against Boston. But for me, I think for a rental player, it's either NBA Finals or championship, like Eastern Conference Final. While they were there in 2016 with DeMar and Kyle Lowry, and they still lost.
I'm with you there, though. I think the Raptors, they could have a good chance in the East. I mean, like you said, the Celtics, Sixers, they definitely have these great teams. Now, you mentioned that series with LeBron winning. How did you feel when the LeBronto name came out, renaming Toronto? Did that hurt a little bit?
Oh, trust me, Kyle. I was at that game, too, when LeBron just went off. I was in the Air Canada Center that night. Because I'm thinking, okay, game one, we should have won that game. I mean, the Cavs had no, the Raptors had no reason blowing that game. They blew it. They choked under the pressure, and the Cavs won game one. So I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a chance, a slight chance, they can tie the series one heading back to Cleveland. But no, LeBron James is full of show. And it did feel bad, of course, but I got to see one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the game put on a show in front of the Toronto crowd. So luckily, it was only trending on Twitter for, a few days. But it wasn't bad. I've seen worse. You gotta love LeBron.
Yeah, well, hey, Lucas.
Someone doesn't love LeBron over here.
I'm just a realist with LeBron. I don't bow down to the so-called king.
Whatever.
Anyways, Lucas, I wanted to ask you this. We kind of have a Central Florida-Toronto connection through the very own Vinsanity, Vince Carter. I don't know if you know this, but he went to high school down here in the Central Florida area, and if you actually go by his old high school, he dumped probably $1 million or so. I mean, the school looks super nice. It's got his name all over it. There's a statue of him and everything. Is that still the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time? Is Vince Carter?
Oh, 100%. I grew up. I mean, I was a little boy when Vince Carter was here in Toronto. I still remember that famous dunk contest where he sold the show, and he was very instrumental when the Raptors made it to the semifinal conference final in 2001, losing to the Philadelphia 76ers. But another thing I'll just add, I mean, along the big-time players that the Raptors had, they all left. Vince Carter traded. Tracy McGrady traded. Chris Bosh leaves.
Didn't they both go to the
DeMar DeRozan now traded. I mean, Toronto's a great city, but it doesn't compare to the classic American basketball cities like a Boston, like a Los Angeles, like a Philadelphia. I'm Canadian, and I'll admit that. So, again, Kawhi Leonard, big-time star. I hope, for the sake of Toronto sports fans, which has had a real rejuvenation because of the Raptors, that he does well, but it's so short-term to me that I can't really see it more than a rental.
Yeah.
But Vince Carter was the best. Vince Carter definitely was the best in my mind.
Yeah, hearing you talk about all those big-name players playing great and then leaving, I feel like you just described the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
That's basically how our franchise has gone for sure as well. So very, very interesting. I think Orlando and Toronto in a lot of ways, outside of weather, they're very similar cities as far as basketball is concerned.
Yeah, you've got the LeBronto Raptors, and we've got the Orlando Tragic. So we're in the same boat.
Well, what Orlando sadly has, I think the only time those two teams met in the playoffs, Orlando swept the Raptors. So I'm still a little bitter about that.
Well,
don't feel bitter about it.
Just feel good that you guys have been going to the playoffs and we've been trashed since Dwight Howard left.
Yeah.
Hell, you were trash with Dwight Howard.
Which it's going on almost 10 years now without a playoff, without even a hope of playoffs.
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh man, you've made me a little sad now. I'm a little depressed. We start talking about the Orlando Magic and things they start getting a little sad and lonely over here. Hey, Lucas, we connected on Twitter, so do you want to just let our listeners know where they can find you on Twitter and maybe a little bit more about yourself and the publications that you write for?
Yeah, so to the listeners of this great show, at Weese Sports, so at WEESE Sports, I'm a huge sports fan, so it's not just basketball, it's not just hockey, which is very popular in Canada. You got hockey, baseball, football, basketball, college football, college basketball, tennis, ball. I try to cover all the major sports and try to provide, the readers and followers with insightful takes on the big topics in sports. Obviously, my favorite teams include all the Toronto sports teams, so Blue Jays, Raptors, Leafs. For football, I'm a huge Carolina Panthers fan. So I love the Dab. Yeah.
How did that
Carolina
happen?
Panthers.
And then you're a Florida Gator fan too, right?
Dude, how did that happen?
This guy's like my Canadian cousin, man.
What's wrong with you,
I'm a
man?
Panthers fan and a Gator fan. You did tell us you're a UNC basketball fan. We got to talk about that, man. It's Florida Gators ride or die, man. We're hashtag everything school here at Florida, man.
Well, for me, look, I have a lot of respect for the Florida Gators. They were the last in back-to-back national championships.
That's right.
I do have a lot of with Joakim Noah and Al Horford and Corey Brewer and all those good guys. But Billy Donovan, the head coach. But what I would say is, for me, I have a lot of family friends in the Carolina area, so it's difficult for me not to root for those two, Carolina Panthers and UNC. Look, the Tar Heels should have won in 2016. It was one of the craziest buzzer beater shots by the Philadelphia Wildcats, and of course they won the year after. So we've been doing very well in college basketball.
I hear you, man. Well, I can respect that. Well, we appreciate you coming on our show. We got another guy coming on shortly to talk about Louisville football and the ACC, but definitely great talking to you, man, on the show. We look forward to having you again, especially when the football season picks up. I can talk about the Carolina Panthers all day, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got a lot of, we picked up C.J. Anderson, D.J. Moore, the wide receiver position. We're in a tough division, but I have a lot of faith in our Panthers. Keep pounding.
Definitely keep pounding, man. All right, well, once again, I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks, Lucas. We appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, man.
Have a good night, man.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right, good night.
All right, man. That was a great interview there. We appreciate Lucas Weese for coming on. And, hey, we talked about where you can find him, but if you guys want to get social, hit up the Scout Team, man. We are at Scout Team Radio. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you go to our website, scoutteamradio.com, it has all of our podcasts on there. You can just check them out. But always check out our website, 12ouncesportsradio.com, 12ozsportsradio.com. Before we had Lucas come on, I was talking about Rally House. Rally House is a great merchandiser with all great sporting goods. Go to the website. There's a link that you can click on. They will give you the best deals possible for all that athletic wear. You can book a tee time. You can get athletic clothing from your favorite sports team at Rally House, and you can get live event tickets to go see your favorite team play. We've got it all at 12ozsportsradio.com. That's 12ouncesportsradio.com. And we appreciate everybody for supporting the website and supporting the station and listening in. We love all of you guys. I know it means a lot to us, and when we go to our daily format, our Monday through Friday show, we're going to just keep getting more interactive, and as our fan base grows and as our listeners grow, we just want to make sure that we appreciate you guys. So that's, once again, August 27th, we're going to a Monday through Friday format. You'll be able to catch the show several times throughout the day. We'll be live at 6 a.m. It's going to be amazing. Replays will be at 9 and 11. I'm sorry, I said that wrong, 8 and 11. But it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But now we're going to start a brand new segment. We're going to be doing some ACC talk, and we've got a phenomenal ACC guest coming on who is going to be a lot of fun. What do you guys? Are you excited about this talk?
I'm excited to talk football, man. I really am. I've made it this far. Normally, I get the itch a little bit sooner in the summer. I've made it to middle of July, and now I'm ready. Last week, I tried bringing it up, and you're like, why are we talking football? And I'm like, man, I got the itch. Yeah. I need it. And college football is the best, and I decided, let's do a Power 6 talk. But here on the line with us right now, he is a Louisville fan, Louisville aficionado. He is Lou the dog. How you doing, Lou? Who?
He's barking.
Oh, he's barking. Nice.
Welcome aboard, Lou. This is you are talking to Kyle the Loudbeard right now. To my left is Chris America. Across from me is the man with the golden mic, Anthony Mack. We are excited to have you on. So, how you doing, Lou?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm happy to be talking to you guys. Appreciate you having me, and I'm ready for football season.
It's exactly what we were just saying before you called in, man. We got that midsummer itch now for football. I can almost hear the snare drums in the distance, the marching band tuning up the brass section. I'm ready, man.
The tailgating, the cold beer, the bratwurst, the burgers. I can feel it already.
It's all part of the show, absolutely.
Speaking of tailgating, what can you find at a Louisville tailgate? It's not all Papa John's pizza, is it?
I'm definitely not Papa John's anymore. He's out.
He's out. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah. No, there's the Louisville tailgates are good. Louisville football has not traditionally been, a powerhouse program. So it's always a little bit more of a social environment and a lot as much about the party as the game. So it's a good time. People are out there early and all day, and they've served beer in the stadiums there as long as I can remember. So it's about the party in Louisville for sure.
Awesome.
So this is for our friends over at the Girls Beer Sports podcast. We always have to ask, why do those birds have teeth?
Well, give them a little reference. First of all, they're Kentucky fans, so you can understand why they're asking that question.
But still, a lot of people must have asked them this question. You already have an answer prepared.
Yeah.
Why aren't they wearing shoes?
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Enough said.
I mean, it's a mean bird. It's all right. I mean, it's a mascot. It's all good.
It's angry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine it trying to look angry without teeth? That wouldn't look good.
Yeah, it looked like the Miami Dolphins.
It will look like the Arizona Cardinals if they try to be too authentic with it. And I don't know. I like the Louisville bird a little better.
I think the Louisville bird. I like the lettering, the little fast-looking lettering you guys got going on.
I'm sold now. I like the birds with teeth. Don't tell Carrie I said that.
She's gonna know.
She'll know. She knows everything.
You know what I like? I like the helmets that you guys have last year with the red and the black.
The chrome?
Yeah, those things are pretty nice, man.
The chrome helmets have been great. They've been great for recruiting, and they're definitely a big hit. We like those as fans too.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson looks faster with wearing a chrome helmet.
Oh yeah,
the guy's lightning fast.
He was something else to watch. We've been lucky with some good quarterbacks the last several seasons between Teddy Bridgewater and Lamar Jackson. I don't know if we'll have a run quite like that in a while. So I'm sad to see Lamar go, but the guy they got coming in to replace him is a stud as well. So we'll see how it goes.
And so who's going to be the guy filling in not just the big shoes, but those fast 4.3 40 shoes of Lamar Jackson?
Well, he's not. This guy coming in is not quite as fast as Lamar. He can run for sure, and he can use his legs, but he's more of a pocket passing traditional quarterback. So I think you'll see a lot less zone read out of Louisville and more of a vintage pro style Patino offense this year, which should be interesting. There was actually, believe it or not, some fans that think that the offense will be better without Lamar Jackson because it'll be more in line with what Petrino's been able to do in the past and not so focused around one guy. I don't necessarily prescribe to that, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see how they change their style of play since everything was so focused on Lamar and what he could do the past few years.
So who's another offensive or defensive player coming up that people should be looking out for to help Louisville get to that next level?
I'll tell you what, I got a little Lou the Dog style preview of Louisville here.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting.
Answer a lot of y'all's questions, and then we can pick up the discussion after that if y'all want.
Yeah, go for it, man.
The floor is yours.
The listeners from over there at Craft Brewed Sports are going to recognize this. You all probably are going to be wondering who the hell you had on your show, but here we go. Roof! This is Lou the Dog, ready to talk some Louisville football. I'm very happy to be on the call. My buddies over at Craft Brewed Sports suggested we hook up, and they'll tell you I ain't just a pup. I got pigskin knowledge coming out my big floppy ears and a flow that'll make your eyes fill with tears. I've been a diehard Cards fan for my whole damn life, through the good days and the recent strife. In Louisville, it's out with the John and in with the glue. There's a horse on the media guide that's coming for you. They're calling the Ville Speed City USA, and they'll put points on the boards without pity. This year's team has to replace the greatest college player of all time. With Lamar Jackson gone, someone else will have to shine. The guy behind center has some class. Get used to the name, Puma Pass. He was a top recruit in the class of 2016, and he gives Bobby P a more traditional QB. With some speedy receivers, a very solid O-line, and running back by committee, this offense should be smooth, just like this little ditty. The defense is led by a new DC. Brian Van Gorder looks like a henchman hired to take out your knee. Having been around the block and coached like 500 teams, he's not exactly the coach of my dreams. But a fresh face was needed for this bunch who lacked fire and had little to no punch. They have some talent in the middle, but lost it on the D-line. To be great, they need the stars to align. The Cards open with Bama in your home of Orlando. I'd be happy just to make it a show. FSU in Week 5 is the next big test. If they escape with the win, I'd be impressed. Clemson on the road is a hopeless cause, but I'd love nothing more than to hang those jerks by their balls. They end the season with a senior day party and a blowout win over the kiddies from UK. All in all, I see about 8 wins, maybe 9 or 10 through a Cardinal red lens. They won't make a bowl as part of that New Year's 6 racket, but they might have a chance to play for a plaid jacket. No need to check another ACC blog. You heard it all you need on Scout Team Radio from Lou the Dog. Roof!
Woo!
Bars.
Yeah, that was
Bars,
it right
homie.
there,
Mic
man.
drop.
Yes.
Hey, if you weren't talking trash about FSU, I would have said, hey, let's sign him up, man. Let's get him on. But, dude, like, what's up,
Man,
bro?
you get extra bonus points for talking
Dude,
trash about
hey,
FSU, man. That's what I'm
man,
talking about right
No,
there.
no. Hey, I said I'd be surprised if they can beat FSU.
What?
We got you all that one year. I talk all this shit all day about Clemson, though. I can't stand those guys. I don't know if any of y'all are Clemson fans, but
Yeah, they're too good. It makes everybody hate them. They're like the Patriots.
I went down there for the game a couple years ago when we almost beat them, that classic game at night. And they lure you in, and I try to act like they're all nice and stuff, but they really are just nice to you because they're all uppity and think they're better than you. It's no good. I don't like them much at all.
Yeah, I remember that game. The thing that jumps out to me is when you guys had that, I think it was a 4th down play towards the end of the game, and somebody moved the marker on the sideline.
Yeah, they cheated.
And the guy went out of bounds.
The line judge had the orange thing that they lay at the first down marker that's supposed to be right up next to the field so the players can see it. He had it about 10 yards into the sideline.
Yeah.
And our guy was caught it about 3 or 4 yards short and ran to the sideline thinking he needed to get the first down and get out of bounds and stop the clock because they had no timeouts and there was about 15, 20 seconds to go. And he went out of bounds a yard short and they lost.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
it was a tough one.
If I was a Louisville fan, I would have lost my damn mind. If there's anything that frustrates me more, it's bad refereeing and bad refereeing that looks like conspiracy theories, like it was all set up. So
Yeah,
I'm not had to be a tough one.
Clemson's had Louisville's number. We're 0-4 against them since joining the ACC, and when one of these days we'll get them, and that'll be nice. But Florida State, man, you guys usually beat us. We had that one beat down a couple of years ago, but
that one,
that's the only one really.
Yeah.
Right? No, I mean
that counts for a lot. Though.
You guys
that
got
means
a
a lot.
game. You guys got a 2-game winning streak against the Seaman Holes.
No, they beat us last year down at their place, I think.
No, you guys won.
Did we get them?
Florida State was garbage last year.
That's right. We did get them down there. We lost a bunch of other games we were supposed to win, but we did get that one.
Yeah, you got us on that one, but hey.
We own you guys. I'm gonna have to change my projections.
I love it.
Hey, new coach. We get our quarterback back. Look,
Slick Willie Taggart.
No, Willie Swaggart.
Slick Willie Taggart. That's what I said.
Willie Swaggart. Get it right. Look, we on the come up, man. We got a stable full of running backs. The playbook is open once again. I mean, Louisville's they had their run. They beat us 2 years in a row, but I think the ACC is ours. I'm not saying we win it, but I think we get to the championship.
Spoken like a true fan.
What's nice, I think, is the other side of the conference is finally stepping up. You know, it's been really Clemson and then Florida State and Louisville kind of battling, but they've been the three best teams until last year with Miami kind of stepping up, and I think Virginia Tech's probably gonna have a pretty good team this year. So
Miami's not good. Don't call Miami good. Don't say that, man. Seriously.
I mean, they only played for the ACC championship last year, but they're not good.
They got beat.
I mean, they were 10 times better than FSU.
They got beat down. Look.
I mean, here is FSU. They won, 6 games?
It took them to the last minute to beat us, and we sucked last year. Get out of here.
A win is a win.
Look, Miami is not back.
I agree. Thanks, Lou. That's because you're a rivalry. They make it close, but they still won.
Miami ain't back.
Listen, this is the Max Scout team. You got to understand. You talked about some Cardinal lenses. This man has nothing but garnet and gold lenses.
I said we're not going to win the conference. I said we're going to.
You said you might.
No. I said we'll get to the big dance, but we won't.
But hold on,
Aren't
though.
you in Clemson's
hold on, though, man. If you're talking
division?
about getting to the championship game, that means you beat Clemson, and then you're playing you'd be favored in the championship game. You're just talking all this garbage about Miami, so you'd certainly beat them. Why don't you really step up and make the prediction?
Be a man. Where are your balls at?
We're gonna beat Miami. I know that for a fact. We're gonna start that 8-year beat down again.
So you're already claiming that Florida State's better than Clemson.
I'm not ready to say that. I gotta see him on the field. Hey, look, we got good pieces. We've always had great pieces. Last year, our coach quit on us. I have no doubt.
And the players.
First year coach is going to be tough. I think you guys can get up there in a couple more years, but it's Clemson's to lose.
Look, this is it. Willie Swaggart, even though he's a first-year coach, he's been doing it for a while. And anybody that can take Quentin Flowers from the place that he was and make him the player that he turned out to be, I have a feeling that he's going to do that to DeAndre Francois. I have a real feeling that offense is going to be beefed up. Like our defense, I hope our defense comes along, but if Willie does what he wants, I think our offense is going to be pitting them up, man. I think
they'll be better than last year. There's no doubt about that. No way to go but up.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But I think the offense is going to be running up and down the field, man. I'm like,
they'll be quick. I watched some Willie Taggart. He came from Western Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was under Jeff Brom there, who's a former Louisville quarterback. So I watched some Western Kentucky football when Jeff Brom was there, and then when he left to go to Purdue, I think that's when they hired Willie Taggart. And they get up and down the field for sure. They'll put some points on the board. They play fast and they throw it around a lot. So it'll be fun to watch for sure.
I would be surprised if we watch a game with Florida State and 35 is not up on the board. You know, I pick on UCF because you guys didn't have a defense last year. But you guys had a phenomenal offense. I'll give you that. Your defense was kind of subpar. Your secondary sucked. Like if you had a throwing quarterback that can actually read the field, you'd be done.
Hey Lou, this is
hard
Kyle.
To pick on UCF. I mean, they didn't even lose a game.
I know.
I go for the king, homie. I go for the king.
He always wants to bring down my UCF Knights, man. I'm a big UCF fan.
I said no offense.
And I think it was 2013 with Blake Bortles that UCF had that big late comeback on Louisville. So I'm sorry about that, man. I want to apologize in advance.
Yeah.
That was another magical year.
Ever since then.
Oh, I bet, man.
Yeah, but Florida State, we're going to put it on the field. The first 3 games are going to be really interesting. Virginia Tech is the first one. So that's going to be a good indicator of what's going on. And but with all that said, I just want to make one prediction right now.
Let's hear it.
Miami isn't back. I'm telling you guys right here, right now.
Why is it so personal? Why is it so personal?
Mark Richt is who we think he is.
A guy that wins 10 games a season? Yeah.
But dude,
I mean, that's who Mark Richt is.
Okay.
He's a guy that wins 10 games a season and wins like a conference championship once every 6 years.
Dude, and he had a chance, so he's going into a 5-year tailspin. Watch.
He's never had a tailspin in his career.
It's going to happen, man.
I think the worst he ever did was when Georgia played UCF in the bowl game. I think they were like 7-5. And they
UCF
lost to
beat 'em.
UCF. Yeah,
Yep.
I think that was his worst season. That was like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, hey,
But-
you guys are all.
Do you all think? What's this Orlando game to open the season with Bama and Louisville going to be like? Is that a pretty big production? And I know Louisville played in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game against Auburn a few years ago in Atlanta, and I was down there for that. That was really cool experience.
I mean, it'll be.
What's it going to be like down there?
It'll be a big game because it's opening weekend, but like I don't foresee Louisville fans coming on down. You know what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't they? I mean, this is
They'll
Orlando.
be there,
They'll go
man.
there, bro. Louisville travels
pretty well.
Alabama travels.
Alabama
Orlando to me is the
football
best
center.
destination for you to go to for a neutral site game. Because in Atlanta, what else is there? You're gonna go do the Coke experience, go visit Stone Mountain. Like
got
here,
CNN.
you got Universal, you got Disney, you got beaches. Like you can
Gatorland.
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 We got Fun Spot.
Yeah, all the great
I
attractions.
mean, if you can't afford Disney, we have other things for you to do that's cheap.
Fun Spot's the shit.
Fun
man.
Spot's awesome.
Yeah, don't knock Fun Spot, man.
So, I mean, I would make a whole week out of it because the game is it a Saturday night game or is it the Monday night game?
It's a Saturday night game.
Okay. So, yeah.
I think Louisville sold out all their tickets. I would expect them to bring a crowd. I hope they can. They're 28.5-point dogs, which is a big number. I like to think that we can keep it closer than that, but
I'll bet Louisville on the spread on that one.
That's a good spread. I think I'd put money on
Bama
that.
dominates these games every year. They have
do.
a decently big name opponent, and they just come out and crush them every year. And I don't have good enough reason to believe that Louisville's going to be an exception to that. But I like that. I would take Louisville 28.5 to maybe score a meaningless touchdown at the end and steal the cover.
Don't say it.
Hey, Lou, do you remember last year? I think Alabama had kind of a big name opponent.
Michigan.
No, I think it was another opponent. ACC. What was the name of that?
Turn this mic off.
What was the name
The
of that
first
team?
game of the season.
And they
it was in Atlanta.
smashed them in the face.
Oh, that's right. It was a team that has that guy ride out on the horse at their home games. Who is
Yeah, what's his name? Captain Seamanhole.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight, man. We're gonna get it done.
I think Louisville's quarterback will be better than your Francois guy this year. That's my hot take.
Huh.
I can buy that. I wasn't ever
This kid's
bought into
good.
Francois.
Juwan Pass is his name. His nickname's Puma. Puma Pass. He's got the name for a quarterback. The O-line is a lot better than anything Lamar Jackson ever had to work with, which is going to help him out.
You said
he's a stud.
You said he's not as fast. Like, how fast do you think he runs? Like a 4.5, a 4.6? How fast are we talking?
6'3".
I think he's probably still 4.5 or 4.6. I mean, he's a fast, athletic kid. I mean, Lamar was running 4.3s, so he's nothing like that. But but he'll have some escapability for sure. He'll be able to do some design runs for him.
Who would you compare him to? Like, give me a quarterback that I can envision.
Cam Newton.
Okay.
Wow.
So I will say this, and the reason why I asked this is, it's not well documented because people like to think Alabama's invincible. But one of Alabama's defensive weaknesses for Nick Saban is mobile quarterbacks. Is quarterbacks who can get out of the pocket. He's had terrible games against Utah. He's had terrible games against Oklahoma, Ohio State. We've seen what Clemson, other than last year, what Clemson was able to do, with Deshaun Watson. So don't be so down. I'm not saying that y'all will win. I'm not going to go that crazy, no offense. But to have some hope, man. Their defense is not that good with a decent running quarterback.
I think the other thing that certainly Alabama's got a coaching advantage, but Bobby Petrino is one of the best play callers and game planners there is, and to have an entire offseason to plan for a game like this when there's definitely a lot of focus, everyone's going to be up for it. He's going to have some tricks up his sleeve that could turn the game if they're able to keep it close. Louisville could make some big plays, or he may see something in that defense that allows him to take advantage of it. So yeah, I'm with you. I do think Louisville can keep it respectable. I think I just don't know what to expect at all from Louisville's defense. They've got some good young players, but brand new defensive coordinator. They were atrocious at times last year. I don't know if you guys remember that Wake Forest game. Wake Forest set about every offensive record in school history against us. They were really bad. So they got a long way to go on that side of the ball. That's just what worries me against these, more talented teams.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to – the defense is going to have to show up and be physical against Alabama. They like to run those big running backs, and they have a whole stable of them. Their offensive line is good. So you got to make sure you get them out off the field and, let Petrino do what, like you said, he's good at, call some offensive plays.
Yeah, I think you'll see Louisville come out and play a little slower pace. I think you'll see them try to do some ball control stuff to keep Alabama off the field and maybe wear that defense out a little bit. But it should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Louisville beat Alabama a huge upset back in the '91 Fiesta Bowl. So they've done it before. They've only played 3 times ever, and Bama's 2-1 against Louisville. So that's respectable, I guess, against a program like that.
Yeah, and Bama is 0-1 against UCF.
There you go.
True story.
All right, man. Well, before we have you off, other than Louisville being a dark horse, what other ACC team? I know you mentioned Virginia Tech. What team outside of Clemson do you think has a really solid chance of maybe winning the ACC championship that nobody's really thinking about right now?
I know the one guy there's not going to like it, but I think Miami's got to be someone you take serious.
Nobody likes him anyway, so go ahead, keep going.
So what we betting on?
They coming in, it's Rick's second year. They had a great season last year. They lost their big games at the end. You see that a lot with teams that kind of have everything to play for, and then they lose that one game and they kind of stumble. So I think they're going to be hungry. They're returning a lot of talent. I think they're the best team in the Coastal Division or Atlantic. I don't know which one's which. Sorry. They got to basically get through Vatek. And if they do that, they're in the title game again, probably playing Clemson. I think Clemson's due to take a step back. So I think that'll be interesting.
It's Clemson's time, but they're still top dog. You still can't discount Dabo.
Dabo's a great coach. Clemson's got it going right now. Yeah, they're right there with Bama. They got it rolling. And until somebody proves otherwise, it's definitely theirs to lose. They're pretty big favorites to win the ACC, and I think they deserve to be. I think Florida State and Miami and Virginia Tech are kind of tier 2, and then probably like your Louisvilles, your maybe like NC State, Georgia Tech, those kind of teams, kind of in there behind that maybe they get some momentum. Louisville's schedule shakes out pretty interesting. They got Bama obviously to open, which is probably a loss, but I think they could get some confidence even if they keep that close. And then they've got 4 very winnable games after that before Florida State comes to town. So I think if Louisville's sitting at 4-1 with the Seminoles coming into town and can find a way to win that, then they can make some noise. They're going to have a lot of momentum in the ACC, and then they have Clemson later in the season. So I think that, that early conference matchup between Florida State and Louisville is going to determine a lot in the league.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I can't disagree with that, except for the Miami thing.
He just hates Miami, dude.
I'm with you, man. I wouldn't back
last
if you guys.
Season, when everybody was on Miami, what did I say? I say they're not back, and guess what? They shit the bed against.
They were still back.
They had a great season, man.
Shit the bed
Give
against
them credit where
they
credit
lost
is
3
due.
games at the end of the season, but being Florida,
the are they back argument is so easy to defend because it's like they got to win the national title to prove you wrong. You always have an out. They were clearly back relative to what they were the last decade. They were a national power and relevant to the last week of the season.
I like this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
2-5
Listen,
Pittsburgh.
If Florida State does the exact same thing Miami did next year, Mac is going to be on the mic saying, "Florida State's back. We went 10-3. Florida State's back."
We got a down year. That's fine. come at me, bro. We had a
So,
down
but
year.
so if Florida State
Miami's
replicates
been
Miami's
down for
season,
we were kicking their ass for 8
so
years.
even more reason for them to think they're back with a 10-win season.
This argument will go on forever. Hey,
I love it. I love it. I'll be more into that game than I ever was before. I'm gonna call you guys back when Miami wins.
I like it. I like it.
Hey man,
Hey,
well, we appreciate you calling on the show.
yeah, real quick, tell our listeners where they can find you. I know we hit you up on Twitter, and you have another show that you're on. You mentioned it, Craft Brewed. So tell our listeners a little bit about you.
So I'm on Twitter at Lou_the dog. That's LOU_THEDOG. During football season, I do a regular thing on Craft Brewed Sports, which is on Thursday nights on 12-ounce Sports there, same channel as you guys.
Yeah.
I do a segment with them called Lose Losers. So I pick a couple high-profile games of the week. I do my thing, and I tell you who's going to lose the game, not who's going to win the game.
I like that take. I like that a lot.
I don't know if y'all are real into the sports radio. You remember a guy back in the day, in like the 90s, there's a national radio show called Leonard Postel did Leonard's Losers. And
It sounds familiar,
he would
but
always
yeah.
have a few little takes on games and tell you who was going to lose, and he's a big redneck type of guy. So I always enjoyed listening to that on the radio with my dad, and so I kind of modeled Lose Losers after that. And Lou was my old dog, so that's where that comes from.
Oh, man, that's awesome, man. Hey, we appreciate you coming on the show. You're welcome back anytime. You have a wonderful evening, sir.
Oh, he coming back.
Yeah, you guys too. Yeah. When Louisville's certainly in the news plenty, so you guys ever need a hot take about the Cards, football, basketball, or anything else, I'm your guy, and I really appreciate it.
And hey, listen to our show. We take calls all the time. So if you hear us talking and you want to chime in, just give us a call.
Will do.
All right.
Do. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Good night,
All
man.
right.
That was fun, man.
Back to back, awesome guests.
Yeah, we had some good interviews tonight. I'm really feeling it. This is going good.
Oh no.
I'm feeling the ACC football season, man. I'm kind of wanting to see what Fuente can do over at Virginia Tech. The ACC is no longer just Florida State and everybody else like it was in the 90s, man. This isn't your granddad's ACC, man. The ACC, I feel like 2 years ago was probably one of the best conferences, if not the best, when Clemson won it, because that was when Florida State was solid, Louisville was solid, Clemson was solid, Yeah. So they took a little bit of a step back, but I think once Virginia Tech is back, because when
Virginia Tech's balling. They never really went away. They still play.
When Virginia Tech, Miami, and Boston College joined the ACC back in 2004, I was like, man, the ACC is about to ball out. Yeah. And then Miami and Virginia Tech kind of just didn't show up like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's the case coming up this season.
I feel like Virginia Tech always disappoints at the end of the year, though. They always come in, they have good hype, they start out really strong, and then for some reason they fizzle at the end of the year. So I'm not buying into Virginia Tech yet. They're going to be a good program, but there's definitely going to be some challenges going on with that. So you guys have any other ACC nuggets of information that you want to talk about? I think we've ACC'd it out a little bit here.
But we did miss something with the Kawhi Leonard deal, the NBA.
All right, let's go back. We're going
to rewind back a little bit. I just want to say,
take back, rewind it back.
Everything that LeBron did in the offseason didn't matter if he didn't get Kawhi. Seriously.
No,
you don't think so?
No, I'm saying it didn't matter. You're right.
Yeah, it didn't matter. And everything that
happened. Good, I can disagree with both of you. I like this.
So
go ahead.
They're going to the Western Conference Finals?
No. I'll tell you why. Because I think if he stays at Cleveland, he has a better chance of attracting Kawhi over there. Because he still had pieces. He still had Love. He still had all those. Still had.
Oh, you think Love's a great player now, don't you?
No. I think he would have been a good trade for Kawhi.
I got to go back a couple episodes. Pull the tape.
No, I always said Love needed to go. He would have been a better trade. I think they would have attracted San Antonio with Love and a couple of more pieces to get Kawhi over at Cleveland than they did in LA. Or like he says, it's a bedroom for in Toronto. He's just staying there for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna produce because he doesn't want to be there. Like, I get it. Like, you don't want your stock to drop, but it takes a special mental person to say, hey, I don't like this team, but I'm gonna go and play hard for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that happens. I think if LeBron stays at Cleveland, he has a better chance of getting Kawhi over there with him.
All right, so I'm going to agree to disagree with you. I do think that LeBron going to L.A., one, Magic Johnson was sitting outside of LeBron's house, I think hours before the free agency came. Magic Johnson, who is a brilliant basketball mind, a greatest Laker of all time type of guy, up there with Kareem. And, I just think that this guy is going to pull this team together. He says, Magic Johnson is on the record of saying he has a 3-year plan. They basically have young talent. They basically know what they are going to do, and he has a plan for 3 years. The Cavs never had a plan. They got LeBron, and they were like, let's trade away everything we've got to get in big talent. When that big talent didn't work out because Kyrie forced his way out and Kevin Love ended up not being as big of a superstar as we thought he was, that is when it all fell apart. And I think this is him starting over. He knows they're not going to beat the Warriors this year, but he's going to start preparing for that free agent class of 2019. He's going to get through this year. The Lakers have a lot of young talent. This is a building block for him where maybe in year 2 or year 3, they can be competitive and win the Western Conference Finals. That's why it's not a worthless move for LeBron. Now, is it going to be anything this year? No, I agree with you. Completely nothing. But it's a plan, and LeBron believes in that plan. He believes in Magic, and he believes that this is going to be the best move for his career. He's hoping next year Kawhi comes without having to trade away anybody, but in free agency. That's the best way to get a guy. You don't have to sell your young talent or your draft picks to get a guy. So if he can get Kawhi next year, which I'm not 100% sold on that because I think Kawhi might like Toronto more than he thinks he will, and maybe he'll get along with Kyle Lowry really good, and this team will end up being an up-and-coming team, and he stays, kind of like Paul George stayed. I think there's a lot of possibility, and I'm not discrediting LeBron. When it happened, I said the Lakers were probably the worst team he could have gone to, but now I've calmed down, I've thought about it, and I believe in Magic Johnson.
Win now.
Win now? Right now?
Now.
You always got to have a plan.
Has to win now.
Nah, forget that. The Brooklyn Nets, they were in win now, and then they were done for 10 years.
LeBron has to win now. The Golden State Warriors are getting stronger. It's like you're like, hey, look, I'm going to take my time and work out and everything, while the Golden State Warriors over there just pumping iron. Dude, it's over. I don't think he ever wins a championship in LA.
All right, that's a good take. I'm not going to discredit you for that. That's not a bad take.
If the Golden State Warriors stay together for the next 5 years, which it could absolutely happen, and LeBron is what?
It's definitely not a hot take, though.
How long is
cool take?
How old is LeBron?
I think he'll be 34 when the next season starts.
34. So they wait out 5 years. He's 39.
Nah, I mean he'll be done.
So
in 4.
So just 3 years. Just go 3 years, dude. Golden State stay together for the next 3 years. Nobody's beating them. I don't care.
Beard bet on that?
He's not ready for that again.
First of all,
no. Beard bet that the Golden State will three-peat?
No, I'm not doing that.
You wouldn't. I would put my beard on the line.
You put your beard on the line. Grow a beard like full length. if with Anthony, you and Anthony, you do the reverse beard bet. He shaves, and then you.
You think they're gonna win another 3?
This is their second one, right?
Golden State. No, I mean, yeah, this is their second. So, do you think they win the next 3?
So I know they three-peat. We all know they three-peat.
No, I'm saying 3-peat from here on out.
He's saying 3 more.
3 more years
That'd
in a row.
be 5 in a row. I mean, we could bet on that, but 3 years from now, who knows what's going to happen?
We could have, by 3 years from now, we could have made it big on ESPN, all got addicted to crack, and we're all underneath our own bridges homeless. Doing whatever it takes.
I'll take that bet.
Like,
I'll take that bet.
That bet?
Done.
You owe me crack. No, it was a beer bet. I don't care. I want crack.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is, if they stay together, nobody stops them. They're just going to keep adding pieces. Eventually, LeBron's going to join OKC. He's going to be like, you know what? Screw it. I just play for him. Can't beat him, join him.
Done, man. Done.
That'll be ugly, right?
That'll be ugly. Now, hey, our buddy over there, Lukas Weese, he talked about Danny Green being a part of that trade. Danny Green's a great player, man. Defensive guy, 3-and-D guy. Toronto's got some talent. Toronto's going to make a good run this year. I like them.
They're in the East.
I know.
We could put together a team to make a run on the East right now.
I don't know.
We say
Philly,
that, but then we look at the
Boston,
Orlando Magic and
yeah, Philly, Boston, and Toronto. I think they're going to be our top 3. Washington's probably going to be in the 4th spot there. So you're going to have 4 teams that are contenders that have all really great talent on them. They're not Golden State talent, but they're still good talent.
I'm about to say, then they'll go to the finals and get swept.
Or
they'll play the first 2 games and just give up the rest too. Like, all right, we're done.
So they all have all-stars, right?
Yep.
I want to talk about a new segment I want to try out, and I came up with a name. You guys tell me if you like it or if you don't like it. I'm going to call it Chris America's Dummy All-Stars. I'm going to read you all a story. You guys can interact with me during the story. Tell me what you think, what you don't think. I'll have to come up with a little jingle for this segment, too. Chris America's Dummy All-Stars. Oh, you don't like it?
No, that's your jingle.
Oh.
I'm working on it. Here, hold on.
All right, since we talked to a guy from Toronto, Ontario, I got a story. All right, are you done? Kyle gets addicted to his little soundboard.
It's fun. It's unbelievable.
Your Honor, it was unbelievable. You understand?
All right, so we talked to a guy, Lukas, out of Toronto, Ontario. We're going to talk about another guy out of London, Ontario. And if you think rednecks are only in America, no. They're in Canada, too.
Oh, Canada Man. Go ahead.
So I love news stories that start
Canada
off like
Man.
this.
That's the name of your new segment.
Canada Man. So I love when news stories start like this. It was a normal day. It was a normal garbage day in London, Ontario. But in one case, it wasn't a garbage truck that came out to collect. It was the local police, the army, and the bomb squad.
Whoa.
It sounds like Canada Man.
It's Canada Man.
Do you have the boy that escalated quickly? Drop? That's where it's needed, man.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
So Danny Vello, he's our local redneck in Canada. He stumbled across some dangerous trash, and here's the conversation. Danny, what did you see in your neighbor's garbage? He starts off with, well, I wasn't garbage picking.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
He doesn't know. He's just going.
Anytime you start off with, I wasn't doing something.
That means you were doing it.
That means you were doing it.
Garbage picking. Go ahead.
Well, I wasn't masturbating, if that's what you're asking. Nobody asked you if you were masturbating.
Yeah, that's no part of the conversation.
He said he was just taking the path through the backyard when I stepped over my fence and I almost stepped on an artillery shell. Warning, red flag number 2, who climbs fences? Nobody up to any good is climbing fences.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Juvenile delinquents and homeless people running from the police.
Or Canada Man.
So he said that he must have put it there, his neighbor, and he should have called the police right off the bat. So then they asked, how did you know it was a bomb? He's like, I'm an iron worker, and I've worked all over Canada. And I used to go out to this bombing range, and for 3 hours, we watched these boring videos about bombs. When I see that bomb, I knew it wasn't an inert bomb because I didn't see no drill holes in it. These are direct quotes.
These are good.
It was solid brass, and I knew it was old.
Huh. Canada Man.
Drinking.
Were you worried that it would explode? Oh, yeah. I had a doctor's appointment to get my broken shoulder looked at because I cracked my shoulder blade. This guy just offers out information like...
Canada Man.
Bro.
Canada Man.
Yeah,
Nobody asked you about your broken shoulder, man. We just asked you if you were worried about it.
Canada Man.
So he calls the police. He says, so I got on the phone, and I was at the beer store. So what do you do naturally when you find a bomb? You go to the beer store.
Yeah.
You got to calm your nerves.
Exactly.
And he said, what are you doing at the beer store? And I said, well, I'm not going to the doctor, and I'm not going to stand there all day. I'm going to go get some beer, and I'll be right back in 10 minutes.
Oh,
Hey,
Canada Man.
Was this secretly Cal? This sounds like something Cal would do.
Kyle, was this you when you were up in Toronto?
It was. I got Molson Ice.
Canadians don't drink Molson Ice.
I
So
know
he
I'm not
says-
Canadian.
So he grabs his beer, And he says, so I got back there, okay, now the bomb is 3 feet away from me. No, sir, the bomb didn't move. The bomb stayed exactly where it was. You got 3 feet away from the bomb. And the police officer drove up with his car right up to me and says, are you Danny from the beer store?
He's recounting this. He's telling
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And he says, where's the bomb? And I pointed down to it right where his front tire was, 2 feet away.
He didn't tell the police to stop. He just
Let him roll over it. He backed up, and he came over, and he took 2 pictures. 10 minutes later, the bomb squad was there. And another 10 minutes, the bomb squad took some pictures. Now, do you think they're taking selfies? Like,
dude, this is the whitest story I've ever heard.
I told you, rednecks in
Canada man. Canada man.
10 minutes later, so we're at 30 minutes now, Wisconsin, USA phoned him. The whole state of Wisconsin.
America.
Hey.
America.
And they said, hey, don't touch it. It's military.
Oh, military. Hey, real quick, mentioned we've got, let's see, we've got some rehab sports guys letting us know that they're howling right now, getting some good laughter in. Keep it going, Chris America.
This ain't me. This is Danny from Canada. So Wisconsin, USA said, hey, don't touch it. It's military. And they're sending somebody out there. And then we sat out there for 12, 14 hours until they picked it up.
Wait. This guy
So that's why he went to the beer store. He said, I'm going to be here for the long haul, man. I got to get me some beer.
Beer man, Canada man. I love it.
Canada man, brother.
So then the reporter asked, you sat where? How close were you to the bomb? Probably about 70 feet. I made sure there was a big tree in front of me. And the police were all the way on the other side of the intersection over there in a culvert. And they sat there all day watching that bomb.
Of course they did.
Do you have any theories as to why there was an artillery shell in your neighbor's garbage? So here's his answer.
Here we go.
The people that were renting that apartment, they told me they are brothers. Apparently they're not brothers. They offered me some empties. I went over there to pick up the empties. They were kicked out. I heard yelling the night before. And then they had a new neighbor in there. The next day, looked like somebody was sorting out, I think it was the landlord, the good stuff and from the bad stuff. You know what I mean? The reporter's like, yeah, I don't yeah. Anyways, these two brothers were nefarious. The truck they were driving had no door handles on either side. They said they were broken into. It was probably a stolen vehicle.
Brothers.
Detective Danny from the beer store on the case.
Canada man.
Why would they have an artillery shell from World War I? No kidding? How does a 100-year-old bomb make it from 100 years ago till today without blowing up? Just like, where the hell has this bomb been in 100 years? Like, that's a military shell that should have been found in Europe that you dig up in farmland somewhere, not here in Canada. I just officially have given him a redneck southern accent.
Doing good.
Anyways, the police told me I broke 2 records.
Okay.
I found the biggest bomb by a civilian.
Call Guinness.
And I found the oldest bomb by a civilian, a World War I artillery shell, a 90-pound shell, 2 feet long, and they said it had dynamite power of 24 sticks, and it was very hot.
Woo!
Bruh.
God, this could have turned out bad.
Bruh.
So now we're wrapping it up, right? But they did eventually take it away, right? Yeah, the military showed up, and they took it, the Canadian Forces base, Borden, and they blew it up there. They have facilities there. And the police told me there was a spectacular explosion. No kidding, eh? I wanted to make a lamp out of it and say, hey, can I get it back? They said, Danny, we blew it up this morning, and nobody got blew up.
That's a good end of the story right there. That's a feel-good story.
I wish he would have gotten his lamp.
Yeah, he should have got his lamp.
Somebody should send him an empty World War I artillery shell so Danny from the beer store can have his lamp.
Danny the beer man.
So Danny the beer man, Danny the Canadian man, Danny from the beer store, you are the Chris America Dummy All-Star of the week.
Holy crap.
Good story, man. I'm glad you brought that up. I need a good laugh to finish the show off. Hey, you know what? We're a little bit over our time, but that's okay. That's how we roll. We always do this kind of thing. But we always end our show with the legendary hashtag Oprah Solid. So bringing it back to you guys. You guys got your Oprah Solids ready? We got to be ready to go here, you know?
I'm going Danny from the beer store.
Yeah.
Man, Danny from the beer store is too easy, man. That was so good.
That was it, man. Danny from
I'm going to go, my Oprah Solid's got to be with San Antonio with the trade. They steadfast with their guns. They weren't going to give away Kawhi Leonard for a bag of peanuts. Like you always see these teams, when a player says, I'm not going to play for you no more, you better send me to this team or I'm not going to play. And they said, sorry, bro, we ain't working that way. We're not just going to send you to the L.A. Lakers, our Western Conference rivals, for a bag of peanuts. And they charged high, and I think they got the best value they could have considering the situation. So San Antonio Spurs, you're my Oprah Solid.
Absolutely. I guess I could follow it up and say L.A. Lakers, but nah, whatever. Sorry, LeBron, you ain't going to win the championship. But it is the state of California. For some reason, they release this a list of delinquent taxpayers every so often. And Chris Tucker is on that list, man. Chris Tucker hasn't paid property taxes. $1.2 million in the hole, bro. So if you want to go buy a house, hey, Chris Tucker's available.
All right. That's a good one. So my Oprah Solid is going to go to David Arquette. He has joined a secret Tijuana wrestling league, and he goes and does matches where he does crazy flying moves. So David Arquette, you may have remember him from Scream. He was one of the actors back in the day.
Serious?
Absolutely, man. It's an exclusive. I'm just saying.
That's crazy as hell.
Yep. He goes out there. He wears a purple mask.
Like Nacho Libre?
He does. He's Nacho Libre. He's 46 years old. He's the actor, Courtney Cox Arquette back in the day. That guy. And, yeah, he's joined a Tijuana wrestling league and just goes out and goes crazy and has a great time. Good for you, man. That's living the life. That's the life we're going to be. We're going to be doing that. So the scout team, Tijuana Wrestling League, is going to be starting up here.
We should have led with that. That was pretty out there. Yeah.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do.
That's a good one, yeah.
He wears a purple mask and matching tights. You not like that with that man stuff you like.
I don't understand you guys at all.
All right, well, tune in next week where we'll discuss which each of our finishing moves will be when we join the Tijuana Wrestling League.
Huh.
Yeah. All right, we're out. Peace.
Later.
Peace. I hate both of you. I don't care.
I hate you too, man.
I don't care because the mic's on. You think I care because
hey, man,
the mic's
I
on?
turned the mic off.
I would be. It's out the dark. It's after 9 o'clock. We can say what we want.
Bring it.
Say what we want.
Bring it.
Hey, bro.
What are you doing, bro?